In the US, the Vietnam War was often referred to as McNamara's War. Robert S. McNamara, the US Secretary of Defence for most of the 1960s, has died at the age of 93. He was one of the most influential and controversial American figures of the post-war period. While he saved many lives in other roles, he will forever be associated with the Vietnam War and the loss of hundreds of thousands of lives. Michael Troy reports.
We have declared war on tyranny and aggression.
The Vietnam War stands as the United States' most disastrous foreign venture, and Robert McNamara was one of its architects. He was a man of extraordinary accomplishment who, in the 1950s, was the whiz kid who ran the Ford Motor Company, introducing seatbelts and a management style that shaped today's corporate culture. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy wanted this modern technocratic mind in the Pentagon.
I've asked Robert McNamara to assume the responsibilities of Secretary of Defense.
McNamara quickly put his organisational skills to use, trying to modernise the Pentagon and confronting communism, first with the Cuban Missile Crisis and then the Vietnam War.
McNamara approached the war in Vietnam like a business decision. He thought if he could make the cost high enough for the North Vietnamese, that is, kill and destroy enough of their country, they would sue for peace.
For 7 years under Kennedy and Johnson, he was at the centre of the strategy for the escalating conflict, often dubbed McNamara's War.
And our firepower advantage is immense. Why shouldn't we expect to achieve a military advantage?
Give peace a chance.
But as the peace movement grew, the American death toll topped 50,000 and Australia's passed 500. McNamara's resolve crumbled and he came to regret his involvement.
We were wrong. Terribly wrong. And we owe it to future generations to explain why.
Said to be on the verge of a nervous breakdown, McNamara expressed his doubts to President Lyndon Johnson, who dismissed him, but also awarded him the Medal of Freedom. He went on to head the World Bank and worked to eradicate hunger, but all his later efforts were overshadowed by his role in the Vietnam War.
How much evil must we do in order to do good? We have certain ideals, certain responsibilities. Recognize that at times you will have to engage in evil.
In the recent documentary, The Fog of War, McNamara kept trying to explain the US role in Vietnam and apologise for his mistakes.
Any military commander who is honest with himself or with those he's speaking to will admit that he has made mistakes in the application of military power. He's killed people unnecessarily, his own troops or other troops.
After retiring in 1981, he continued to champion the cause of the world's poor and became a global elder statesman. Michael Troy, Lateline.